Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, we're back on the air. It's time for the Jesse T Show. Yes, and Lee's coming at me twice because he loves his voice so much, and I love it too, Lee. I'm just so glad you're not on when I'm on. Of course, you were there at that moment, but who has the prettier voice, huh? I think I do. What do you think? Actually, Lee's got a nice voice. Yeah, nice and deep and resonant. And I'm getting a lot of feedback here, so you may want to turn the headphones down just a little bit. Thank you very much. Hey, it's good to be back with you halfway through the week on a Wednesday in Southern California. And it's starting to change weather-wise again here on the West Coast. We had some nice couple of days here, and now it's starting to get kind of cloudy out there, and another storm's supposed to be coming through, and the 405 freeway is packed up. And a maniac freeway, you know what I always say, is beautiful living in paradise, but there's just too many people. My goodness, please go away. Don't come back. Don't come here. We don't need any more. We have enough talent in Southern California to last a century. We don't need any more people here. We already have enough, and those freeways can't get any more crowded. And to my right, I must introduce this beautiful, beautiful woman, and just so talented. We are so blessed to have her on the Jesse T Show today. This is really a treat. And of course, I'm talking about the ever so great FREDA Payne. Everybody, FREDA Payne! Yay! FREDA Payne, my goodness, this is such a treat to talk with you and to meet you. This is the first time we've ever met. You've met some people around here before because you've been all around the world performing. So I mean,
yes,
you've been everywhere. And talk about somebody that knows you, Roger Neal. Roger Neal, who's putting on the Hollywood Palladium, the big show, the 4th annual Roger Neal preview Oscar dinner party and after party, and you're going to go get a great meal. Roger, how you doing? Don't hear him. Okay, there he comes.
He's
Thank
there.
you.
He's going to be there somewhere. Come on.
He's there.
I'm looking forward to this Oscar party.
No, he's gone. Are you sure? I'm getting nothing. Roger, say hello.
Hey, Jesse T, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Okay, we got you. Button pushing time here, but that's okay. I always figure that if you push enough buttons, one of them is going to work, and that's why you don't want me flying your jet airliner to New York. Ain't that the truth? Roger Neal, everybody. Roger, I got FREDA in, and you and FREDA know each other.
Yeah.
I do, FREDA. FREDA Payne, I got to tell you, just before Christmas, she performed at the Thalians Holiday Gala at the Bel Air Country Club, and I had seen FREDA perform on television before and things of that nature, but she got up and she just sort of took the roof off the entire country club at the Bel Air Country Club. I mean, she was the performance she gave was absolutely phenomenal. It was incredible. She's just a legend, and I was so happy to be able to see her perform, and I'm so excited she's going to be with us on Sunday night at my Oscar viewing dinner. I'm very excited to have FREDA Payne. To me, that is a very, very big deal that FREDA Payne's coming. So I can't wait. Out of all the big stars I have coming, I'm most excited about FREDA.
I think you got a fan.
Thank you, Roger.
You got a fan. Yes.
Yeah, that was a wonderful night. I enjoyed myself so much, and also who performed? It was Frank Stallone.
Oh,
Frank
Frank.
Stallone,
Frank.
yeah.
I love Frank.
Yeah, Frank Stallone. He performed as well. It was a really nice evening.
And he's going to be out at the Hollywood Palladium too, as well, right? Roger, Frank's going to be there.
Yeah, I've got 140 stars coming, including FREDA and people like Frank. But 140 stars coming on Oscar night to my Oscar viewing dinner, and then we're having the after party at the Palladium. We now have 16 confirmed Oscar nominees, win or lose, coming to the after party. And I mean, I'm talking from The Green Book, from Detainment, from Black Panther, from the Black Klansman.
Nice.
We've got some really great nominees coming. Peter Farrelly's coming, who's the director and the lead producer of The Green Book. And I really, really am crossing my fingers that that our Green Book people that are coming, one of them is going to walk in with an Academy Award. So I'm very excited about that.
I just want to hold the Academy Award. I just want to hold the Oscar.
I love that Green Book. That movie, Green Book, was sensational. I think that was one of the best movies of the year.
Okay, so it's taking place Friday. It's taking place Sunday, February 24th. We're going to be broadcasting live out there, the Jesse T Show.
That's
so we're going to have you back on the red carpet and get a chance to chat with you then.
Great.
And I even just might do a duet with you for like 10 seconds. Right? No, come on, Lee. Lee says no.
Lee says no.
Listen, I'm going to tell you that, hey.
You're going to have to audition.
Okay. If you're going to sing with FREDA PAYNE, if you're going to sing with FREDA PAYNE, you better really be on it because that's FREDA PAYNE right there. You can't
wow.
No, you can't just pop up and sing with FREDA PAYNE.
No, I know
you gotta be on that level.
No, she's probably going to hit me in the head with a brick or something if I sing with FREDA PAYNE. She'll go, get out of here, boy. Get out of here.
Hey, we'll get through it. It'll be all in fun.
Thanks a lot, Roger. Appreciate you checking in, pal.
Roger, I look forward to seeing you Sunday.
We're looking forward to seeing you, too, and I'll see you on the red carpet.
Okay, will do.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot, Roger. FREDA, that's going to be a fun time, and you probably have done a ton of these types of shows, these award shows and these dinners. And are there any shows that really have stood out to you over the years that were really special that you've done? That really kind of hit home, or it was really a meaningful point in your career to do that show? You had.
Wow! I can't. Something. It's sort of like it's a blur because you go to so many affairs and so many different shows and events, and they're all wonderful. Some of course are more wonderful than others.
Yes.
But they're. I kind of feel that to just point one out or two out wouldn't be fair to the others. So.
Well, I love some of the videos that are online right now of your different performances through your career. Mm-hmm. You are such a talented gift of God and so beautiful and so absolutely sexy on stage. When I mean sexy, not in a bad way. I mean it in a beautiful way because the way that you charm your audience and how you move and your eye connection and the hands, how you move it. It's just, that's an art form, isn't it?
It is an art form. And it's just something you either you have it or you don't. It can be taught. But, you have to really know, whoever the teacher is has to really know what they're doing. And ultimately, it comes from within, inside of you. It's a spirit thing. It's a spiritual thing that just happens. Like, for instance, let's say if I'm not feeling well before a performance, or if I feel like, I don't feel like up to it.
Well, that happens.
Once you get on, you got your makeup on and the gown and the whole. Once you hear that music and you're on stage, something happens. It's that energy that the adrenaline kicks in,
right?
And then you are on.
Well, Olivier always said that when he put his shoes on, the great actor of the 20th century,
Sir Laurence Olivier.
Yeah, when he would put his character together, he'd sometimes have those nights where he just didn't want to be there, right? And but he'd put the Hamlet, he'd put the uniform on and the sword and the shirt, but when he got to his shoes, Hamlet's shoes, he'd put the Hamlet shoes on. Bingo.
That was
it. And he was ready to go.
Yeah.
Even if he had the worst day of his life earlier in the day. Mm-hmm. But it's sort of the same thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I for instance, I have to tell you this story real quick. Last night I was watching a documentary. It was on PBS. And it was American Masters. That was the title of the show. It was the documentary on Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, wow.
And I said, a friend of mine called me and said, it's on about Sammy. And I was just finished watching This Is Us on Channel 4, which is also one of my favorites. And Felicia Allen Rashad was on last night playing the mother of the lead character of Sterling Brown's wife, and she was excellent. But then I turned it on to watch the Sammy Davis Jr. documentary. Yeah. It was, and let me tell you something about Sammy. Let me just tell you.
Did you know him?
Let me tell you my story. Okay. I was 13 years old. I'm from Detroit, born and raised, born and bred in Detroit. When I was 13, I entered a talent contest on TV. It was called the Ed McKenzie Dance Hour. It was sort of like Dick Clark's American Bandstand.
Right.
But this was different. They had a segment where they featured 4 artists, like a contest. And I auditioned and I was chosen to participate. I won. Mm-hmm. Well, they also would feature a artist, whoever the artist was, who was a star who was appearing in the Detroit area. It could be like Della Reese, or it could be the 4 Freshmen. Well, this time it was Sammy Davis Jr.
Wow.
And he was performing at the Elmwood Casino, which is right across the river of Detroit, in Windsor, Ontario. And so he was like the headliner star. So I won the contest, and afterwards we took a picture together, me holding my trophy. And Sammy, it's black and white. I still have the picture 8x10, and I'm taller than him. He's like, I'm like this much taller than Sammy. Okay, that was 13. When I was 17, I encountered him again in Las Vegas. I was with my mother and my mentor, and he was performing at the Sands.
Right.
And I was performing in the lounge at 17 with the Mac Ferguson Trio right across the street. We're talking about 1961. This is history, okay? I even have a booklet, like a program with the hotel. It was called the San Souci. And with the headliner was Miriam Makeba, and I was in the lounge, FREDA PAYNE with the Mac Ferguson Trio. I was 17. Across the street was the Sands Hotel.
Yeah.
And the headliner is Sammy Davis. Well, he heard about me performing there, and he invited me and my mother and my mentor, Mac Ferguson, over to see his show. Okay, fast forward another few years, a good, let's say 17, a good like more than 10, about 12 years later or 13 years later, I had Band of Gold by then.
Right.
Yeah,
1969.
Right. Or 60. It was 1970 was 70, Band of Gold. 70. Yeah. So this was not until around 72 or 73 I was booked to open with Sammy.
Wow.
I was booked to perform with Sammy Davis, not once or twice, several times. On Broadway at the Uris Theater.
Nice.
It was me, the Nicholas brothers, Harold and Fayard Nicholas.
Wow.
And Sammy Davis Jr. on Broadway performing, in concert.
Right.
And then I performed with him, opened for him at Harrah's in Lake Tahoe. It was a 2-week engagement. And then again in Houston, Texas, and then in San Diego, and then in
so you guys were almost on tour together.
Oh, yeah. I got booked with him a lot. And can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It brought tears to my eyes. It sort of was like, oh, my God. Because the footage in this documentary, it's called I Got to Be Me. If you can find it or go, check your guide, TV guide. It's on, I have Spectrum, so it's on TV Guide. It's American Masters, and it's the documentary.
You can see it on Google and YouTube.
Yeah, it's called I Gotta Be Me. This documentary is fabulous because footage I've never seen. I thought I'd seen a lot of footage of Sammy. I never seen a lot of this footage. They showed footage of him when he was in the Army, or when they showed footage of him when he was went to entertain the troops in Vietnam. And of course, his marriages, all the racial stuff he went through.
Oh, yeah. Especially in Vegas when he first got there, the whole thing with Frank Sinatra said, we're leaving if you don't, Sammy's as good as we are.
Yeah, I remember. Also, they showed where at one point he had, somebody said that he was swimming in the pool at the Sands, and they drained the pool.
Yeah. Can you imagine such stupidity?
Story.
Seriously.
This is my story.
Seriously.
Hey, guys, I'm not that old, but...
No, you're not.
When I was 17 in Vegas, that same time we're talking about 1961.
Yeah.
When we arrived, we drove, was my mother, and my mentor. His name was Mac Ferguson. Mm-hmm. We drove from Detroit to Las Vegas. We arrived in the evening, and I was like, my mouth was open, like, the neon. It was like... I was like, oh, my God, this is like a fairyland of lights.
Yeah.
So we started, we were tired, because we had driven like 2 days from Detroit and every motel would say vacancy. Mac would go in and come back out and say, well, they say they don't have any vacancies.
Ah, here we go.
So he did this like about 3 or 4 times until I'm sitting in the back seat saying, something's wrong with this. Like, doesn't he have any sense to know something's wrong with this?
Right.
So we saw this man, African-American man who was walking down the street, and we said, hey, what's going on? They say vacancy, and then they tell us that there's no vacancy. So, well, don't you know they don't allow us to stay on the Strip?
Oh.
He says all the colored people, it was colored back then, all the colored folks live over on the west side, the Dust Bowl.
That's right.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Duke Ellington was at the Riviera Hotel performing in the lounge. We were going to Vegas because I was supposed to be invited up to sing with Duke Ellington with his band because he wanted to sign me.
Right.
And my mother said, well, my daughter's here. We're here from Detroit because my daughter's going to be working with Duke Ellington at the Riviera. Is it Mr. Ellington staying at the Riviera? And this guy says, no, ma'am, he's not staying. He ain't staying there. He's staying over. He's probably staying at the West West Motel over on the west side. Mm-hmm. The West Motel was owned by a Dr. West. Mm-hmm. And so we found a phone, like a pay phone, and called up over there.
That's something you put a quarter in or a dime or a nickel.
And we called up over there, and I don't know if it was a quarter back then. It might have been a dime. You ever hear that expression? I'm going to drop a dime on you.
Yeah.
So we called my mom. They called up over there and inquired about the West Motel, and they said, and we discovered that Duke Ellington and his whole band, they were all staying at the West Motel.
Yeah.
So we went over there and we got rooms there and we stayed there. But that's my story.
Did you encounter a lot of racism and these things through when traveling around the country? Because
for Detroit, there was no Jim Crow in Detroit. There was no segregation in Detroit. But you knew. There was a difference.
Once you got out of town.
You knew it was like, oh, those white people, they don't like us. That kind of, we knew, we were trained. So we knew there was a difference. Mm-hmm. But you still got along, because there were some white people living in my neighborhood, living,
Sure.
And there was a little boy named Butch that I played with, and on my, where I lived in Detroit.
Well, now as a kid. You were, Motown wooed you early on. They wanted you badly.
Well, let me tell you the real story. Let me tell you the real story. I encountered Berry Gordy at the age of 14. He had not even formed Motown or thought about it.
Yeah.
He was a songwriter. He had previously worked at Ford's
He had a couple
Motor
hits
Company.
then.
He had hits with Jackie Wilson.
That's right, Jackie Wilson.
He had a couple of big hits with Jackie.
Yeah.
So he was really hungry and anxious to start finding talent. Mm-hmm. So he heard about me because I had kind of I won that contest.
You won a lot of contests as
I
a
won
teenager.
it twice, So my name was kind of getting around.
You were on TV in Detroit, too?
I was on TV in Detroit.
Yeah. We got a clip we're going to play a little bit later.
Okay. It was from Ted Mack. That was another contest, a national contest. Right. So anyway, Barry started, paying attention to me and coming, because I was taking ballet and Afro-Cuban, and he would come to my classes.
Right.
And then he started writing songs for me. He wrote 3 songs. And we recorded those songs at United Sound. United Sound was located on the same street where Hitsville is now located.
Right.
West Grand Boulevard. Hitsville is just about a block or two from where United Sound was.
Everybody recorded at United Sound.
Everybody recorded.
Up to that time.
Even I did commercials at United Sound because I used to sing commercials.
The whole city went there.
Yeah. United Sound. So Barry wanted to sign me. Manage me. He wanted to manage me.
So he wanted.
And so we drove to New York. He said, I'm going to take you to New York. It was my mother. And it was me, my mother, and my sister Sherry. She went too in the car. And a guy named George Kelly. He owned a nightclub in Detroit. He was sort of like a financial backer of Barry's.
Right. Investor.
And it was me, George Kelly, my mother drove. We drove to New York. Mm-hmm. And Barry went and had a meeting with Morris Levy at Roulette Records.
Get out of here.
And then he stayed over, and then we all drove back to Detroit. And then Barry, like about a week later, came over to our house and sat down with my mother, and they start talking business. And I sat on the staircase kind of listening,
right?
Because they were in the living room.
Well, they're talking about you.
Yeah, they're talking about me.
Right.
And Barry was like saying what he wanted, this, how much commission.
Right.
And my mother kept saying, well, Barry, what does that leave my daughter? Like my daughter pays what are you paying? My daughter has, all this comes out of my daughter's salary. And it didn't make sense to my mother because my mother had gone to the high school, Commerce High School, which is a business high school, and my mother was pretty smart.
Yeah, he was going to collect all those recouvables from you.
They just kind of like,
butt heads.
And she knew the whole family, by the way. It wasn't anything, strange to her. He was no stranger. She knew his family, his parents, and his sisters.
Yeah.
And
so it was a little different kind of relationship.
And the Gordys also went to they belonged to the same church, Bethel AME.
God.
Yeah, so everybody knew everybody, So I didn't sign with him.
But Holland, Dozier, and Holland, when they left Motown, that's when you went over to Invictus.
Yeah, that's the irony is that, let's say, fate has a plan. God knows what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah, God knows what he's doing.
Right.
So I went to New York after I graduated high school, and I was only 18 when I went to New York. I landed my first record deal with ABC Paramount. Mm-hmm. I think I was still 19, maybe 20, 19, 20. And they put a single out on me called Slightly Out of Tune, which was based on the jazz Stan Getz hit, Desafinato.
Oh, okay.
And matter of fact, a few other women recorded the same song. Let's say Julie London, Ella Fitzgerald.
Yes, and you do Ella Fitzgerald too.
I do. Now I've been performing and doing a tribute to Ella Fitzgerald for the last maybe almost 15 years, and I've played Ella theatrically in a play. I've played her in a play. Yeah. With padded suits. Yeah. And gowns and the short wigs and everything.
And you do it quite well too.
Yeah,
the reviews on that are pretty good.
Yeah, I've got some.
I've read some of those.
Some
reviews.
of the good rave. I've had some rave reviews. Even one from the Washington Post, which I'm proud of.
Before we go any farther, because we are limited.
I'm doing all
time.
the talking.
Right. No, but that's okay. I want to play some of your music, and I want to get some of that out there right now. Now, the first clip I was going to play, you kind of talked about a lot of that stuff, your history as a young person, being on TV in Detroit and stuff.
Yeah.
It's that it's about 6-minute clip.
It starts out with Ted Mack.
I'd like to play
in New York. Okay.
It's a little bit long.
But you know who's on it? Lamont Dozier, Marilyn McCoo, Billy Davis.
Oh, I got a funny story
Justin
about
Chambers, who's a regular on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, so we got to play this. There's a lot of great people, and this is all about Freda. And check it out right now on the Jesse T Show. Okay, well, we're going to get to that in a second. But your love and your passion, at least as soon as you get that queued up, let me know. Your love and your passion is jazz. I mean,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love me some R&B.
Right.
But, and pop.
Pop and R&B, but that wasn't your passion.
That wasn't my heart and soul. My heart and soul was with jazz because that's how I started out.
Yeah, and as a young performer, a teenager, a young girl, I mean, you're 13, 14 years old, you already had the chops for doing jazz already.
I did.
So that put you lyrically and your ability to be a singer way above your peer group that was coming up with you at the same time because you had those jazz chops.
Yeah, I had that. I think that's what Barry saw, and he said, it's a funny thing. This happened, and I was surprised he said this because, it's something that if you know Barry at all,
I do.
He's quite a remarkable human being.
He was at the Motown building. We were downstairs at Kiss FM, 3 floors down, and I met everybody going up and down that silly elevator every day. So when they were up on top,
But he told this was in 19. Okay,
we're gonna play this right now.
Watch this. Okay.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so go ahead. Come on.
Okay, this was like in '83 in Las Vegas, and I was headlining, doing Duke Ellington's "Sophisticated Ladies" at the Desert Inn.
Oh, what a great!
And I was headlining along with Paula Kelly, and Harold Nicholas.
Harold Nicholas.
Yes.
Really?
And so after the show, so Barry had come to see the show with his entourage, and after the show was over, he came backstage to the to Paula Kelly's dressing room, because hers was on the first floor.
Right.
And we were sitting around, and Paula said, "Well, Barry, how do you know FREDA?" And he said, "Well, I know FREDA from Detroit." He says, "I knew her from when she was, a young teenager, about 14 years old." He said, "I saw in her what I needed to do."
Oh, that's an interesting statement.
He said,
Wow.
"I saw in her what I needed to do."
And that's teach everybody the right way, how to perform, how to take care of yourself.
And so I was surprised that he said that, because that was quite a compliment.
And you were just a kid then,
because I always thought he held a grudge against.
All right, we got that thing. We got it queued up. This is all about FREDA. Some great people here. Watch this. You really enjoyed it. FREDA PAYNE, everybody.
Now, from Detroit, Michigan, a 16-year-old senior from Central High School. She's a pop vocalist. Her name is FREDA Payne. Tell me a little more about yourself, FREDA.
Well, Mr. Mack,
My true love is jazz. In Detroit, coming up as a teenager, most of my training and experience in the business music-wise had been mostly jazz and big band. I mean, I was singing with big bands when I was 14 years old.
When everybody was trying to get into that pop or rock and roll thing that was just starting out, she wanted to go the jazz route.
What kind of things do you like to sing?
jazz mostly.
Yeah? All right, stand back there now and make Detroit proud of you.
When she sang at those shows, we were shocked. Everybody was like, whoa.
Moment on, you and me, dear, only 240, dear.
FREDA always had her own style. She was gifted with her own sound and her own interpretation.
When you hear FREDA Payne, you don't get her confused with anybody else.
FREDA is a real singer, and her technique is so perfect that sometimes you wonder if it's actually her singing. Can anybody be that good?
Everybody was very impressed with her singing skills. She had a wide range of opportunities.
I sang for Jimmy Wilkins' big band. I sang on the radio on a show called Don Large's Make Way for Youth every Saturday from the time I was 13 till I was 16. So my experience was coming from the pop, jazz, standard field.
This moment
All right, that's the way they're singing Detroit, Michigan.
When Motown started, all of this talent just started coming together, and they were all jumping at the chance to be on records.
A lot of us, or most of us, got that chance, and some of us were very successful at it, including FREDA.
I was always on talent contest, and I'd be winning the talent contest.
She had people always approaching her, wanting her to appear at clubs or come sign with their labels.
Here's this guy, Barry Gordy. He was a songwriter. He'd already had a couple of hits with Jackie Wilson. And I guess he was looking for talent, somebody to work with. And he saw me as this young girl, and he wrote 3 songs for me. And they were all kind of popish. We went into the studio called United Sound on West Grand Boulevard, which was the main recording studio in Detroit. And he would just drill those songs into my head, and me rehearsing those songs. He was such a taskmaster.
FREDA's constantly looking for new projects. She doesn't shy away from anything.
She is not just a one-trick pony. She can sing lots of different styles of music.
She can do whatever she wants. There's no limit. She's been doing it her whole life.
It was 1968, going into 69. I'd had a record deal, a couple of record deals already.
I'd rather drink marijuana.
I had moved out of Detroit. I was living in New York trying to seek my fame and fortune. And that's when Brian Holland called me up. We talked, and I said, look at you, you're a big star now, Holland, Dozier, and Holland, famous producers. He said, yeah, but we just left Motown and formed our own label called Invictus. Maybe you'd like to come over and be with us.
FREDA PAYNE has always had a plan, whether it be theatrical, whether it be R&B, whether it be pop. There's never a false move.
I flew back to Detroit, signed with Invictus, and then a year later I had a #1 record. I had Band of Gold.
Would you please welcome FREDA PAYNE?
It was very powerful. It was very catchy. And the imagery of that Band of Gold, no one had sung about that before. All of that together just knocked people out. Plus, she was absolutely gorgeous.
It doesn't hurt to look good.
No. After I got the hit of Band of Gold, it's sort of like I got the feeling that they expected me to be this soul singer, you know, and I'm not. It has made it more difficult for me to be accepted as a jazz artist.
Like sugar, so sweet when you stir it up when I take
But it's a blessing to me. It's a blessing. Because that's sort of like my calling card. People think, well, okay, we know her for Band of Gold. But she does so much more.
She's a total package. I mean, this is a woman who can sing many genres. She can act. She's made movies.
They're still running your life, allowing you to live only until they want you dead. Then bam, you're dead.
Maybe it's just a chance I'm gonna have to take.
And she can dance. She's photogenic beyond belief. She's charismatic.
FREDA is a great storyteller. Obviously, she's talented, and talent always survives.
She lasts because her gift lasts.
Mm-hmm.
I see my legacy in show business as being one of survival and having a profound love of the art of performing.
She has such grace, and it's so nice to see that in someone who's been in this business for years, and they still have grace.
You got to have a tough skin, you know, to be in this business, and she has that.
Maintaining a certain amount of class about myself. That's how I see myself. That's my legacy.
To see her go full circle right now is kind of a cool thing. It's almost as if she's reinventing herself as her original self. As a jazz singer.
What a great little documentary about you and your career. I mean, some really stellar people talking about how they just cherish you. They cherish you, you know, and you can see the appreciation of not only your talent, but they really love you. Your peer group really thinks highly.
And I love them back.
Yeah,
I love them back.
It's nice when you have the ability to have performed and participated with other great talented people.
Yeah.
It really brings even more to what you're doing, doesn't it?
It does. And then you get a chance, you just feel good, you know, when you're working with your peers and you feel like, hey, I'm with somebody that I enjoy myself. Right. I want to stand in the wings and watch them.
Yeah,
you know?
that's really it. When you go,
when you
do
know,
your show and you go off stage and you go, wow, look at her or look at him. Man, wow.
It's like, I give you an example. The late David Guest, who was my very dear friend, he put on several shows. I did several tours that he put together over in the UK, in England. Yeah. And I swear to God, the fun part is that, I mean, it was sort of like one of those variety shows where you only do 1 or 2 or 3 songs, you know? And but he would have like Billy Paul, he would have like Peabo Bryson, Denise Williams, Candy Staten, Eddie Floyd, me, the Stylistics. I mean, the original. I mean, Russell Tompkins Jr. Stylistic. Yes. Dennis Edwards and the Temptations. And a show like that, you know, you don't want to. You might be in your dressing room, but you kind of like sneak into the wings and say, "Hey, I'm enjoying working in this show because I'm enjoying all the talent." Yeah.
People aren't jealous or any with each other, especially when you're performing in an enterprise like that. People are just in awe of what each of you can do.
Can I tell you, I have a confession. There was more jealousy in your early stages of coming out in the business.
Coming up?
When you're coming up in the business, because you're like always insecure.
Right.
Now, as a sophisticated, older, senior adult, there's no jealousy.
I like the way you put that.
Because I'm telling the truth.
Can I steal that?
I'm telling you from Jump Street. Because you've been there, done it, and you've been through all that frustration, and you've overcome your insecurities, and you're just enjoying what you do now,
right?
And you
That's
just
very true.
appreciate one another.
Well, we're going to go way back now to the song that brought you out and shot you to the stars.
Yeah,
and it is an almost, I don't want to say it, but it's like your namesake song. This is the one that really put you on the scene.
It put me on the map, and I have.
And this is the first song I ever saw you in, of course.
And I have to thank Holland, Dozier and Holland, Eddie and Brian and Lamont.
And, of course, I saw it when I was 10 years old in 1970.
Oh, you're just a kid.
I'm just a baby. That's right.
10 years old.
I might be a baby, but I'm going to ask you out on a date, girl. What are you talking about? You're so beautiful as sweet cherry pie. Thank you very much. Oh, I think I got myself in trouble again, didn't I? Okay, thank you very much. Soul Train, man. And Don Cornelius brought you out and said, Band of Gold, FREDA PAYNE. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Mic's on. Thank you. It's called Press a Button. Thank you. You got to quit looking at the video, Lee. She's so sexy and beautiful in this. I mean, her body, her music, her singing, her eyes, everything is just overwhelmingly.
Much easier to look at.
I know. Well, you're easier to look at than me. I look at myself and say, oh, my goodness. Is that you? Yeah, that's me. Imagine so. We were off mic and while we were enjoying the video. That's Band of Gold. That was the first big, huge, major hit for you.
Yeah.
And followed by so many others. and we're going to try to. We're running out of time, but we're going to try to get to a couple of others. And when that song put you on the map, were you ready for it? I mean, was it overwhelming? Did it hit you, or were you like, is this really happening?
Well, I have to tell you, I had been told by a psychic.
All right. Paranormal. I like
that this was going to happen, and it happened just like they said it would.
Wow.
So I almost knew, but I still wasn't claiming it because it was like, you say, oh, well, they said this. Who knows? That's not,
Right.
I said, all I know is that I'm hearing the record on the radio.
Everywhere.
And everywhere I go,
Everywhere.
I'm hearing it in my car. I'm hearing it, I walk down the street.
American Bandstand, on Soul Train, everywhere.
And what happened was I was in Toronto doing one of those TV shows in Toronto, and one of the people came into my dressing room and said, "Miss Payne, would you come to the office? The BBC is on the phone and they want to speak with you." And I said, "The BBC? That's in England." I get on the phone and they said, "Oh, Miss Payne, how does it feel to have a #1 record in the UK?" And I didn't even know it at that time.
Wow.
I was like, "Really?" And then I said, "It feels great. It feels great." They said, "Do you think that if Diana Ross had recorded that song, it would be just as big or bigger?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "I recorded it. I don't know about her."
That song was for you.
That song was for me.
No. Diana Ross couldn't have done that.
And from that point on, I kind of felt like, oh, wow, this was ordained to be.
Yeah.
It was ordained to be.
Well, you had certainly put a lot of hard work previous to that song.
Oh, my God.
Your whole life.
I had already been professional and in the business about 7 or 8 years before that. I'd even gone to Europe and performed, as an unknown singer. And I had worked with Quincy Jones' big band.
Yeah.
I had performed with Lionel Hampton. And
I love Lionel Hampton.
So I had done a lot of...
Absolutely love Lionel Hampton.
I had worked at did some of the Playboy Club circuit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
I also had made several appearances on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show when they were in New York. This is in the 60s.
Well, that's before they came out here, right?
And Merv Griffin.
Yeah, well, Merv...
Before I even had a hit record.
If Merv, at that time, Merv Griffin was a daytime talk show. And he was one of the wealthiest men in Hollywood or the entertainment business at one time.
Yes, he was.
Merv Griffin was. He had many shows, produced shows.
Because he owned other shows.
And he owned property, and he owned other shows, and he owned... people don't realize how astute of a businessman he was. But when you got on his daytime show and performed, or he talked about you, Merv Griffin, Johnny Carson, these were the guys that if you made those shows, you were there.
Yeah.
Your career was going.
Yeah. I was fortunate because I had a manager that was responsible for getting me booked on those shows.
Yeah.
And then they liked me, and because they were always, willing to bring me back.
So you had other songs that, and I just wanted to rattle off some to you. We can't play them all. I wish we could, but you had Unbroken Generation.
The Unhooked Generation.
Unhooked Generation.
Yeah.
Okay, Unhooked
that was the first single they released before Band of Gold.
That was right before.
The Unhooked Generation was the first single they put out.
And how did that do?
It didn't stick.
Yeah.
That's why. And then they put Band of Gold out, and it stuck.
It stuck. and then they came back to it, and it probably did even better because it was part of the first album, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. And then we're going to try to play Deeper and Deeper. I want to play Deeper and Deeper. What a great song that is. Tell me a little bit about Deeper and Deeper.
Well, Deeper and Deeper was the next release after Band of Gold, and they put that out.
Right.
And it didn't get to #1 or anything like that. It didn't go gold, but it did well. It did very well. And then after that, the next single was...
Well, I know these aren't in the right order, but I guess the next single would have been Bring the Boys Home.
Bring the Boys Home.
Right.
Correct.
And that did well. Now
that did great.
We have Deeper and Deeper in our system somewhere, Lee, and we have Bring the Boys Home. We don't have any video on Bring the Boys Home, but we have the song, the remastered song. So it's nice and clear. And so can we switch that around? Can we play Bring the Boys Home right now? Sure. Would that be okay? And so Bring the Boys Home was a song for its time. And that was a song about Vietnam, and
it was about Vietnam, and we were home. Yeah, and this was like the political. The political news of the day.
Were you afraid to do a kind of an activist, community activist, political song like that?
To me it was like, oh, they played the song for me, the demo, and I brought tears to my eyes, and I said, oh yeah, I want to do this.
Right.
And they wanted me because they were looking for another hit.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to do it. Ironically, when I think back, I had a road manager who was a very close friend of mine. He's not with us any longer. His name was Bobby Lucas. And when they released it, Bobby said, Freda, I'm afraid that you're going to step on some toes with the Republican Party. I don't think they're going to perceive this as an anti-war song, which is against the Republican regime.
Right.
And sure enough,
they did.
About 2 or 3 weeks after they released it, they got the record company Invictus got a telegram from D.C., from the White House, saying that Bring the Boys Home would not be played in South Vietnam.
That would be under President Nixon's time.
Oh, Nixon was the president.
Yeah, at that
because
time. Right,
they believed it to be giving aid and comfort to the enemy. And the thing is that it wasn't. It was the opposite. It was giving comfort.
And there were a lot of...
It was giving comfort to the soldier, American U.S. soldiers.
And there were a lot of artists that spoke out and publicly about the Vietnam War and made songs and music and talked about that. So it wasn't unusual, but that's interesting that the Nixon White House actually sent a letter to your record company.
Yeah, they did. And, they had the nerve, I think about a few months later, they had the nerve to want to book me to do a show.
Isn't that funny?
For them.
The
and I didn't do it.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of politicians.
Yeah, and I didn't do it.
We rail in here, I do, about professional politicians and the hypocrisy. The stinky Republicans, that's what I call them. And I call them the demon crazy Dems, because I think they're all crazy.
Well, you know what? Everybody's got something wrong with them. So
let's play deeper and deeper now. This is a song about Vietnam.
No,
I'm sorry. Thank you. No,
Bring the Boys Home, Mr.
Viet. Bring the Boys Home. So that's right. Bring the Boys Home. It's about Vietnam, and
but it doesn't state Vietnam at all. So it's about all wars.
It could be for today or tomorrow.
For today, tomorrow, yesterday. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So check this out. This is a great song. FREDA PAYNE and Bring the Boys Home.
Are all alone. Mothers are praying, send our sons back home. Tell them about it. You marched them away, yes you did now. On ships and planes to a senseless war, facing death in vain. Bring the boys home. Bring them back alive. Bring the boys home. Bring them back alive. Bring the boys home. Bring them back alive.
Wow, what a great song. So much power, so much impact. FREDA PAYNE here on the Jesse T Show. No, I'm not FREDA PAYNE. No, I am not FREDA PAYNE. Thank you very much. FREDA PAYNE's over here.
I am.
She's FREDA PAYNE. That's right. She's right there, and she's the one that sings. You don't want me to sing. No. I'm trying to get them to let me sing with her, but no. Hey, that's Bring the Boys Home. And where'd the inspiration come from that song real fast? Where'd you get that from?
Well, it's a song that was created because of the Vietnam War. This was about, we're talking about the early 70s, 1971, and it was written by General Johnson, Greg Perry, who produced The Honeycomb, and he also actually produced Bring the Boys Home, and Angelo Bond. And I just the inspiration came from wanting to do something to give comfort,
right?
Comfort to the soldiers and to the families.
Yeah, this was towards the end of the Vietnam War because it ended in 1973. They started bringing everybody back after that. And so this was the last portion of it. And boy, it really hit home, didn't it? Bringing the boys home, and then in a couple of years, all the boys and girls are coming home.
Right.
And
hey, listen, and then
maybe it had something to do with that.
And it was a good song, well produced, and it was a good song.
Absolutely. So jazz is your love. Jazz is your passion. You're doing a lot of jazz now. You have a new album that you're doing. Tell me about the new album.
Well, it's not actually new now because it was released back in 2014, so it's been out there a little while.
Well, it's new to our audience.
But it's new to this audience, yes. And it's called Come Back to Me, Love.
Okay.
The label is Mac Avenue and out of Detroit, and it's a jazz label,
right.
There's songs that I've always wanted to do. I picked some of the 8 songs that I've always wanted to do.
Right.
And then there's 6 original tunes on there that was written by Gretchen Valade and Tom Robinson. So it's done with big band.
Oh, nice.
And strings.
Whole orchestra and everything.
Yeah, we recorded this right here in L.A. in Hollywood, Capitol Records in Studio A.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Capitol Records Studio A.
Yeah. Have you ever been down to the downstairs one below the parking lot? The studio down there where Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, everybody recorded, and Sammy?
Isn't that Studio A?
That is, but they also had another secret studio down there.
Well, see, I recorded at Capitol back in 1970. Was it 76 or 78?
Yeah.
I recorded there when I was signed to Capitol.
Right.
In 1976.
Yeah, you had a lot of hits with Capitol.
So that wasn't my first time, stepping into Capitol Records.
Yeah,
I was there when Larkin Arnold was the A&R man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Larkin Arnold signed me. Right.
That room has a different richness to it from what I understand, what performers have said to me.
Oh yeah.
It has a different texture to that room when you're recording there.
It does, feel. And also great mics.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let's play a jazz song. And this was from the Monterey Jazz Festival, I believe.
Montreux Jazz. Not Monterey. The Montreux in Montreux, Switzerland.
Okay.
And it was Quincy Jones celebrating. It was like celebrating his 75th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's we've got Honeysuckle Rose.
Right. Big band. And Joe Sample is at the piano.
And she's sounding and looking so good. Check it out. FREDA PAYNE, Honeysuckle Rose.
Every honeybee thrills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle Rose. Breezes stop and sigh when you're passing by. They don't know the reason why your complexion, goodness knows. Honeysuckle Rose, you're my sugar. You just have to touch my cup. You're like sugar, so sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasting lips, how the honey faded lips, your complexion, goodness knows. My honeysuckle rose. Oh. I do you do, baby, I do you do down, baby, we do diddly do day. You're my sugar. You've just got to touch my cup. You're like sugar, so sweet when you're stirring up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips. Ooh, how the honey drips. Your reflection is my honeysuckle rose. You're my sugar. You've just got to touch my cup. You're like sugar, so sweet when you're stirring up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, how the honey barely drips. Your confection goodness knows my honeysuckle rose. I said, don't buy sugar, my sugar, and your confection goodness knows my honeysuckle rose.
Wow, Freda. Oh my goodness, Freda. That is just fabulous. Just what do I say? How do you follow that?
Well, I wish I could do it again.
Man, that was just great. And I bet Quincy just loved it.
Yeah. He did. He did.
Because you've been friends with him for a long time.
Oh yes, we go way back.
Right, and so just you're scouting there, and you're so in tune. You're having such a great time, and I just love the way you pronounce your words when you're singing.
I kind of like I grew up doing that, wanting to enunciate properly.
That's the thing I liked about Frank Sinatra so much. Is that he enunciate. The words were most important to him.
You understood every single word he was singing.
Which means that...
And Ella.
Ella, too. Mm-hmm. Right, Ella, too. Mm-hmm. And you could... And when you do that as a fan, as a listener, or a viewer, you really can... The emotion comes through when the word is pronounced the way you want to pronounce it for the song at that moment.
Right.
You're like there you hit cup. It was that beautiful,
my cup.
Right. That's fantastic. Folks, you just don't know. You just don't know how great that is. That's just beautiful. Just jazz is is he there? Okay. So jazz is just a beautiful thing, and as you get older and you do jazz, you have a more appreciation for it because it really comes from your soul.
Oh yeah, especially with good songs like some of my favorite songs are the Alan and Marilyn Bergman.
Right.
Their material is really good, there are a lot of, and then of course the American songbooks, with the Gershwins and Cole Porter and all them, Jerome Kern. And
now you don't do a lot of writing for your own music, do you?
I've done some writing.
Some writing, right.
But not no, my sister is the one that
she's a writer.
She's a writer. She does some serious writing. Right. She writes all the time.
She writes films and she writes all kinds of stuff.
She writes scripts from play scripts and film scripts and songs. She's written songs. I've recorded a couple of her songs.
So many of the artists of that timeline, they had such great writers around them that provided them lyrics and music that they didn't have to do a lot of the writing. A lot of the artists today, young artists, they do all their writing because I think songwriting has, unless it's in country radio out of Nashville, Tennessee, songwriting, it's hard to sell a song to anybody these days as a writer. And from that timeline, that's how artists performed music. They would have writers.
Well, And also, when artists today do their own, in a way, it's about business,
right?
Because then they get in on the publishing and all
money.
that,
right.
and in a way, that's it's smart. But at the same time, you're not. Sometimes you're missing what I call having a really, really good material,
right?
Sometimes you got to like think of what kind of good material you could record that might become a big hit, as opposed to something that you wrote yourself. I never felt that I could write something that would be that great, because it has a lot to do with the melody or the format or the whatever gimmick you come up with, and then you gotta be. And then nowadays, with the lyrics that I hear with some of these artists, it doesn't matter. You can just you don't even have to think.
You hear the lyrics. I think it's more mumbling than anything.
Yeah, and the lyrics aren't that.
No,
creative or interesting, in my opinion.
That kind of all changed when rap music came in. The whole music business changed.
Yeah, it did.
Everything just changed. I want to bring Ed Losey up. Ed Losey's the public relations man who's handling all the stuff for the Hollywood Palladium and the 4th annual Roger Neal party there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and hey Ed, what you doing, buddy?
How you doing? What a great show you guys have going there.
Hey, thanks, Ed. FREDA Payne. FREDA Payne's here with us, and we're enjoying the heck out of it.
Yeah.
You guys know each other, don't you? Do you know?
I tell you that, she blew us away at the annual Thalians Christmas party.
You were there, of course. Right.
Country Club. Yeah, I mean, it brought a tear to my eye.
Oh.
It was just terrific, and
thank you.
Just was the big hit of the Christmas party for the Thalians. That's the group that Debbie Reynolds started with Walt Disney like a million years ago.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So now you're handling
at our Night of 100 Stars Oscar party over the years too with Norby Walters.
Oh yeah, Norby was my agent way back.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I know. I just talked to Norby recently, and we did that party for 27 years, and you were there often.
I sure was. I sure was.
And now you're going to be coming to the next one that we're doing, which is the one at the Hollywood Palladium on Sunday.
How's that going? How are the preparations going, Ed? With that, how's it coming along?
We're just about stacked. We have 600 sitting down for dinner, and 200 media outlets going to be in the gallery, in the balconies, looking down. So it's like going to be quite a red carpet, and
I understand.
We're one of the.
It's going to be a good meal too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we have about 200 Academy members that voted are going to be in the room, and we have former Oscar nominees and it's a serious Oscar viewing watching party, and then we're having an after party this year for the first time, and Shalimar is going to be performing well as the
Howard Hewitt
orchestra from down.
That's a good
Howard.
I love Howard. I love Howard Hewitt.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, he's really great.
Yeah, and so there's going to be dancers and Roger Neal Jr., who has just signed a recording contract. He's kind of a combination of Justin Timberlake and Michael Jackson together in one.
Wait a minute! I thought you were going to say Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson, and Jesse T. Come on! They won't let me dance
Jesse
either.
T. That's right.
Hey, Ed,
that's right, Jesse.
When is it taking place, real quick? Because we're getting close to the end of the show. Tell me the dates, and can people still buy tickets?
Well, it's Sunday. It's Oscars Sunday. And it's at the world famous Hollywood Palladium, which is like one of the most beautiful, incredible, streamlined architectural, protected. Still rocking. That place has been rocking since the big bands opened it up in 1940. And this just last week, 9 Inch Nails performed with 5,000 people inside.
Are tickets still available? Are tickets
for the party are still available,
okay.
And they're includes the dinner and the after party. Still it's the best $1,000 a seat ticket in town.
And you can meet FREDA Payne.
That's worth it.
That's worth it right there.
Alone, you know.
Hey, Ed, thanks a lot, brother.
Well, if you want to sit close to FREDA, it costs more.
Okay, I like that.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. And you got to get past me, Jesse T, because I'm going to be personal bodyguard for FREDA. That's right. Thank you. Hey, Ed, I got to run, brother. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Well, we'll be glad to see you there with your coverage on Sunday, too, Jesse T.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be there on the red carpet. You bet.
Okay, take care, FREDA. We'll see you Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday.
Man, you got fans everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't know where they come from, do you? They just come out. You're probably eating at your favorite spaghetti restaurant, and the fan comes up to you and says, "Are you FREDA Payne?" Yes.
Well, sometimes, not all the time.
All right, so we're coming to the end of the Jesse T Show. It's been quite a pleasure and so wonderful. How can the folks get your album, the most recent jazz album?
Well, if they go on what's that? iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, yeah.
Okay, they just put in FREDA Payne and they get your jazz selections and things like that.
Sure, or go to the Mack Avenue website.
Okay, that's the record label.
That's MACK, Mack Avenue.
Yes, and they're out of Detroit.
But they have another big office right here in LA, right here in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, with the internet, it doesn't matter where you're from anymore.
Yeah, they got an office here in right here in LA in Sherman Oaks.
Absolutely. So, we should end with we didn't play Deeper and Deeper. You're ahead of me. Okay.
Queued up. Yeah.
We're going to play that song by FREDA Payne in just a second, but thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome.
The hour or so has gone by so fast, and I could speak to you for 3 hours and hear all your stories.
Well, I had a lot to say.
Yeah, I think you have a lot to impart, a lot of great stories, and we only got into a little piece of it, but it's just a wonder. Huh?
Bring her back.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. Okay? I'm just a little slower than you. Okay, you're a little older than me, so you're running out of time. I'm younger. I got more time. Okay? That's right. Thank you very much. If it wasn't for him, I would be like all over the place. He keeps me on the road.
Well, he keeps you normalized. He keeps you under control.
He tries to.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job right there. Mama T needs some help. That's my wife. Mama T. Right? And I got Lee Baby Michaels right here. That's right. All right, guys, we have to have you back. And we're going to see you, though, on the red carpet.
Yes.
And so we'll have another conversation there. It won't be as long, but
then there are going to be a lot of other people there, too. They're going to have a lot of celebrities.
Where are you performing next? Do you have any dates coming up that people can go?
I don't have anything right immediately because I just finished playing locally. Like I played Catalina Bar and Grill back in October.
Right.
I just played Vibrato up
up top of the hill.
Yeah, Herb Alpert's Jazz Club.
Yeah. I saw
last month.
I saw Frank Stallone up there.
Right. Yeah. He plays up there too. Yeah. Now I'm not going to be playing in the LA area again until. Well, actually,
it doesn't matter.
Doing something Friday. I'm doing something Friday at the Saban, but I'm only just doing. It's for the Black History Month,
right?
And it's at the Saban Friday night.
They have a big celebration.
A big celebration. Right. My sister and I both are going to do a song.
So
we're only doing one song. So. Right. And then I'm going to be doing something April the 8th at the Catalina Bar and Grill. I'll be part of a tribute to Billie Holiday.
Oh, wow.
But it's Corky Hale, and it's going to, like a tribute to Billie Holiday as well.
Nice.
And then I will be returning to Vibrato in June for 2 nights.
That's a nice place to play.
Yeah, I love the room. Yeah. And the food is like the best.
Isn't it
it's
good?
5-star.
Yeah, it is. Right.
So June the 19th and the 20th, I'll be performing again at Vibrato.
Do you have a Facebook page or a fan page?
I have a website.
Can you give that out so people can follow you?
FREDAPAYNE.com. I'm going to be doing the Cherry Blossom Parade in D.C. April the 13th on the float, and then singing Band of Gold. And I'm going to be doing a tour in the UK the first 2 weeks of May.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Man. So I've got to,
You're still going 100,000%.
Yeah.
That's right. I love it. Absolutely. FREDA Payne, everybody, thank you very much. The Jesse T Show. Deeper and Deeper FREDA Payne right here on the Jesse T Show. Check this out. Great song.
610 WIP.
Deeper and Deeper, FREDA PAYNE. What a great pictorial there of that video. There were some great pictures in there, isn't there? Mm-hmm. That's a fan that put that together, and he or she did a great job.
I wonder where they found all those pictures.
Well, I'll tell you, the internet today, you got to be very careful what you have out there, because it does come back. All kinds of ways. FREDA PAYNE, everybody, thank you much for joining us here on the Jesse T Show. We're going to see you Sunday, and go to her website to follow her career and where she's performing, and you'll be able to kind of keep in touch with her and stuff like that. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Jesse.
You have an open door here. That's
okay.
Right. That's right. And we're definitely going to go have some
I'll
cherry
hold
pie.
you to that. All right, okay.
FREDA PAYNE, everybody, on the Jesse T Show. The Brown Beauty is off duty. And, hey, we've got, of course, we've got the Oscars coming up February 24th. That's Sunday, right here on the Jesse T Show. On Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Also on Instagram. And on many other social media TV networks. Hey, we're going to take it out right here. Got it. Hit it.